Ready. Play.
Little preview in terms of Monte Carlo, which is already underway. We already had some first round matches today. But yeah, I mean, opportunities kind of all over the board. I'd say we could definitely start with, Carlos Alcaraz not having played many matches here, due to his health and whatnot. But now he's back. He's had some time to prepare, and his draw, I think, could get tough really quickly. With if it is Francisco Cerundolo, that won't be an easy one. So I think we'll start there. What are your thoughts on? I guess maybe we'll go to the bottom half of the draw, and Carlos Alcaraz, Ruud being there, Rublev. So go for it.
I think usually I'm known as like the hedger, and Fergus always laughs at me that I don't really have any big calls, predictions, and stuff like that. But I actually have a few for Monte Carlo because some of these quarters are pretty weak, and there's one player who really stands out. And if we're talking about the very bottom of this, my big call is that if Carlos Alcaraz beats Francisco Cerundolo, then he's gonna win the title. But that's a big if. Because Fran Cerundolo right now, I mean, yeah, that's one of the best players on the tour. And Carlos is a little lost. He really needs to find something quickly. He also hasn't played Monte Carlo almost ever. 2022, obviously he played one match against Sebi Korda, lost it, and that's it. 23, he withdraws due to an injury. 24, he withdraws due to an injury. So there's a bit of uncertainty there as well. I think, Alcaraz is fine on any clay court in the world, really. I would like to see him in Houston. But some of them will be better. Some of them will be worse for him. I think that second round against Cerundolo is absolutely massive. And if he gets through it, then he's still the top favorite to take the title. But that's a pretty big if at the moment. And let's remember that Fran even pushed him pretty close in Indian Wells.
Right. I mean, those are two players that, some of my favorite players to watch. Just their all-court ability, variety they possess, and then obviously, the big weapons being, the forehand and the disguise of the drop shot and timing of it, and also great movers. It's just, two guys who can really excel on this surface. Casper Ruud also has, a fairly, we'll call it routine route to the quarters, to the quarters. We'll go with, with Jack Draper being, the other guy on the top half that he would eventually meet up with in the round of 16. I guess, we'll talk a little bit about Jack Draper. I mean, what are your thoughts on him in the clay season?
Yeah, I mean, Brits especially, they like to push this narrative that Brits are bad on clay, Draper is going to be horrible on clay. I think they're just trying to cope with the potential losses already. I think he's perfectly fine. His style is getting so much more consistent over the years. The lefty topspin with which he beautifully resets is perfectly okay too. Of course, last 2 years he lost to Hurkacz in Monte Carlo. Both were very difficult matches. I don't expect him to win a big title on clay, but he's gonna be fine. He could lose to Shapovalov. I'm not saying that it's not impossible, but that's just more, on Shapovalov being so good as well. And I think we've already established over the last few weeks that basically right now on the ATP Tour, the rankings between 3 and 30, that it's just all the same, really. So Draper and Shapovalov, I think, are both within that range.
Yeah, and our producer talking about Richard Gasquet came through a big win today against Matteo Arnaldi. I mean, I think he's definitely worth talking about, given how big of a legend he is in the sport, and time is now ticking. So I think he's got a shot. Whoever comes through there, I think FAA Altmaier will be a good battle, honestly. But Gasquet awaits the winner there, and I think I'd fancy his chances.
I mean, yeah, that's a big story. I can't disagree, obviously. The fact that in 2002, that was the first, let's say, the major breakthrough on a big stage for him. Then he also beat Roger in 2005 in Monte Carlo. That was massive as well. He just keeps riding that sort of history as long as he's on the tour, which is only for the next 2 months. Is it very disappointing from Arnaldi's perspective to lose to him? Yes. I mean, whoever loses to Richard Gasquet right now will be a little like, the guy has 1.5 sets of physical tennis left in him. But yeah, still the magic is very much there. The variety, the angles, the beautiful backhand. So let's enjoy him while he's still there. And who is he going to play in the second round? Remind me.
He is awaiting the winner of Felix Auger-Aliassime and Danny Altmaier, which I think will be, a tough one. I don't
That's
know.
a tough match,
Yeah. All right. We'll quickly wrap up here with the top half. Quick little description. Obviously, Zverev top seed. And I guess another big name, of course, we're in Monte Carlo, which is, Stefanos Tsitsipas is his favorite tournament, on the tour. What do you make of his chances to, repeat here?
That's the one quarter which I think is just incredibly stacked. Zverev, Musetti, Rune, Tsitsipas. I can't say that like either of these guys is like comfortably ahead of the rest. Zverev right now just doesn't seem like he's taking advantage of the no sinner time at all. Rune obviously just made the Indian Wells final, had a second round loss in Miami, but so did Draper, and then it just seems like he should be able to bounce back. Musetti has been very good in Monte Carlo over the years, defeated Djokovic 2 years ago. Steph, as you said, 3 titles in the last 4 years. What more can you add? He's just a GOAT here, although I do think he would have lost to Sinner if not for the injury last year in the semifinals. So I think that's the one section of the draw where it's very difficult. And even if you look at the other guys, like the unseeded contenders, the Hedgkar Korda for Musetti in the second round, Navona or Berrettini for Zverev in his first match. That is insane, yeah. I remember watching this draw, like talking to someone about this draw even before the qualifiers were put in. And I was just like, it's going to be Navona against Berrettini, right? It's just going to be the most dangerous qualifier against probably the most dangerous player who is in a qualifying spot, in a spot that was going to play a qualifier. So yeah, it's so difficult. John says that only Boo is not making it. Sorry, but actually 3 of these 7 players that we have on the screen will not make it to the second round. I don't know which. But yes, this first quarter, Zverev, Musetti, Rune, Tsitsipas, this is the one where I have the most doubts. And it also actually makes me want to say something ridiculous, like Djokovic is probably going to get through his quarter because it's so weak. Right. And then in the semis, he's going to lose to one of Zverev, Rune, Tsitsipas, or Musetti. So I think he has 4 players, and I think he's going to lose to one of them. Which one? Absolutely no idea. I do have one more thing about the Monte Carlo draw. Third quarter, Casper Ruud. I know I did it in Indian Wells too. And I said he has a very easy draw and he's going to make, a big run. But Novak has a very nice opening for himself. And I do think Casper has the same. Brandon, who's going to be coming from Houston, or Bautista Agut, who's also, not quite as archaic as Gasquet, but he's also a bit weak physically at the moment. Frances, who's probably not going to be amazing. Humbert, I know, made the quarters in Monte Carlo last year, but he still had like a 5-7 record in clay. Popyrin, not in great form. I don't know. Kecmanovic, I guess, is a bit of a threat. Obviously, they just had a great match in Miami. But let's see if Miomid even gets there. Yeah, I think Casper Ruud is going to be in the semis. Novak Djokovic is going to be in the semis. Carlos Alcaraz, if he beats Francisco Cerundolo. And then remember, that top quarter, Zverev, Rune, Musetti, or Tsitsipas are going to make the final. It's a 4-way tie for me.
I totally agree. I think Casper's definitely, more of a write-off than anyone else, and Novak as well. But yeah, I'm very excited, and I would love to see a Casper Carlos semifinal. That would be a lot of fun.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.